Alright, so we now know from Matt Dillahunty's video, The Argument for Intelligent Design, that God does not exist. Or if he existed, who killed God? Or why is he hiding? You know? So, if there is no God, who killed God? Somebody must have killed him. Why is he being a scaredy cat? Why is he hiding? So these are the questions. Or maybe there just never was a God. Stay tuned, folks, for more answers from science. We will find out. A good point Matt Dillahunty makes. When people look for intelligent design, if they want to see it, they'll see it. But if you look closely, if the tree was built at the wrong place and it couldn't get the proper nutrients to survive, so had it be on a river dam instead of the ground, something is faulty. Maybe our universe is not designed intelligent as we think. Maybe it just is. Maybe we just are. Maybe we're just a cosmic accident. Maybe there were several accidents. Maybe there was alien intelligence that gave us our brains to think. Maybe aliens had things to do with ourselves. Maybe there's a force out there that we don't know. Maybe there was a force that died. Maybe it was aliens that had technology elements, organisms we can't even comprehend, made a bunch of things. Maybe they made planets. Maybe they caused a Big Bang. Maybe those multiple Big Bangs. And on and on and on and on. With no God needed. Maybe there's no starting point. Maybe there's multiple starting points. Maybe it's infinity. Maybe it just could have been an accident. We just don't know. But we'll find more answers. But the bottom line is, why is your God never showing up? If your God existed and created the universe, what made it pop out of existence and created everything and just disappeared? It's scared to show itself. Or 3, what happened if there was a God and somebody killed it? Still a lot unexplained. Who killed God? That's the question. Who killed God? What killed God? Or maybe there's no God. Maybe there's multiple gods. Maybe no religion is right. Maybe there's only this God. But the problem is when you put the gods in the picture, what created God? Where did it come from? And why did it come from? Why did it start to just create everything? And then either leave and never intervene again? What's that purpose? Therefore, that God exists has no purpose at all. What kind of God would just create things, hide itself, and never come out? More likely there's no gods. So if there's no gods, multiple questions, multiple answers. It's a big mystery. You know? But we'll find out more. Stay tuned for the answers to science. Not only that, not only could we find out what happened before the Big Bang, perhaps one day we can find out how all existence started. And this is by computers and technology. Perhaps we can simulate a universe. Perhaps one day we can create our own universe. Perhaps we can go through wormholes and time travel and go back to the present. Perhaps somebody could go back and see if there was a Jesus, save him from being crucified, put him back into the present time, and ask him to do miracles. Perhaps our only answer, or a big answer, would be time travel, if we could go back in time. And we can. All we need is a large amount of negative energy for the NASA warp drive craft to go through. Then we can actually time travel. So, all existence might be explained one day. Now, how many years that would take? Who knows? Let's, let's see in 5 years how much more we'll know, if we know at all, and we can find out more. So, bottom line is, once you throw your gods in the picture, it makes it even more complex. The universe is so complex. Your god has to be even more complex. Why would your god just come out of the blue and start just creating stuff? Why is this intelligent design so flawed? Such as a tree growing in a river when it should have grown on the ground, when it's blocking up the river. Or plants growing in cracks where the plants can survive. And on and on and on. Like Matt Delehoney says, the more you look for intelligent design, the more you'll see the world as intelligent design. The more you really observe it carefully, start to question everything, and actually look at the things that were faulty designs, the more you'll find out it's not as intelligent design as we think or thought. Perhaps we'll find out before dark energy, dark matter of this unknown force. And perhaps many years from now, if we explain it all, or if it would begun to be explained. Because if the universe is infinity, our explanations could be, I wouldn't necessarily say infinity, but it might seem like infinity. So it's like if we find it was an unknown force that created the Big Bang. Or just all existence. We need to examine this force. But what if there was a force before that, before that? What because there's universes and multiverses. It can go on and on and on. So maybe there's never was a starting point. Maybe things just came to be. Or maybe it's so highly alien, the technology that created multiple things, or alien elements, or just alien species. Maybe our universe is a parallel universe of another universe. Maybe another universe doesn't have the gravity we have. Maybe they have anti-gravity. Maybe they have double gravity. Maybe they have different elements. Maybe our universe, maybe we are the aliens. Because sunlight can blind us. Deadly plants can kill us. Foods can kill us. Maybe the aliens vomited, and that's how all bacteria started. It all started with the cyanobacteria. Why would anything start with bacteria? Well, that makes sense, because the bacteria, things reproduce and grow themselves. Why do the cells just divide themselves with no God? You look under the microscope, bacteria, viruses, forming their own action. What caused that? And the answer is, it's possible extraterrestrial intelligence of some sort. Our world, our universe, it's a lot of mysteries. It's a lot of strange things. It's different than what we perceive on Earth. We know on Earth, things just don't move themselves. But things in space, universe, bacteria, viruses, they do move themselves. It's like molecules and particles move themselves. Nothing is making them move, they just move themselves. Particles will just move in one motion, but viruses move in all motions, or viruses and worms. So there's different forms of movement. Particles are just like, if light bounces, it just moves back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, forever and ever and ever. And more energy, the faster it'll go. It all breaks down to learning more about the science. I couldn't explain it because it's more complex. Once you do the research, you'll find out why things move, how energy causes things to move. You learn about momentum and so forth and so forth. But the question is, like, why do these cells, viruses, just divide themselves? They're just doing it. I mean, they're not human. They're not animals. They're not active, they just do it into various configurations of division. And this is where perhaps some alien intelligence did this. Perhaps alien intelligence gave us a brain. Perhaps they gave us to think. Perhaps they gave us a lot we just don't know. People want to say God gave us our brains or morals. But we know that's impossible because the Bible's full of immorality. It's a book of immorality. So gods are out of the picture. Theist gods are out of the picture. Perhaps alien intelligence gave us our brains, gave us a lot more than we think. We didn't come from aliens, we didn't have sex with aliens or produce from aliens, but maybe they had something to do. Because if we're our aliens, who knows, before the Big Bang, we just know at our final starting point that our DNA landed on Mars, and then everything apogenesis went into the water, and all the chemicals and elements formed together. Right, so if our chemicals and elements form together, we're not robots, we're human. So maybe this extraterrestrial intelligence either put some kind of, extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call it, technology, power, who knows? It always will point down, aliens will be more plausible than a God. God is called the super infinity, the grand designer, the head honcho of all. But it doesn't explain anything. Where did it come from? Who did it create? Aliens, on the other hand, there's a possibility that, say like, if we learned how we came to be about, another species came about through a different method, and there never was a starting point, then there never was a God. That's how it can be explained. There's a lot of methods to explain how all this can happen with no God. People want to rely on God because people are not thinking higher enough. God is the simple answer. God is the simple answer for it all. God made trees, God made plants, God made animals, God did this, God did this. How did it do it? It just did it magic. But we know life and existence is much more complicated than that. It's not as easy as that. We know that. It's a much complicated process. And that's why our existence is much more complicated than a talking snake. God created people from dirt. People want to know why they're still dirt. A flood. A creation that failed over and over and over again. Lucifer, angels, demons. Something out of mythology, fantasy. But when you have to look at the reality, you understand that life is, in all existence, is much more complex. And the reality will be truth is stranger than fiction. Even though people believe the Bible as truth when it's fiction. Nobody has lived 950 years old. And we know snakes can't talk and never did. So we will find more answers. And perhaps the answer will be the best, will be time travel. Because if we can time travel, we can go back in time. We can see perhaps other species. And maybe they can tell us how it happened. Maybe we could see the pre-universe forming in our eyes. Maybe there's some alien technology that actually has a technology that could show us how it all came to be about. And then